Good morning and welcome to The Core, where we're dedicated to pushing you daily, mind, body, and soul. And I am your host, Sophia Johnson. Thank you guys for joining us this morning. Our topic today is relentless. Yes. And I have to let you know that we have a very special guest this morning. And her name is Stephanie Lady B Bird. Some of you may or may not know her by Stephanie, so you may know her by Lady B. So I'm super excited to have her, and I'm gonna let her give a little information about herself. Hey, Stephanie, how you doing?
Hey y'all, good. How are y'all? Well, you pretty much summed it up in the introduction. Nothing special, just Lady B. I like to laugh and I like to help birth out freedom.
Yes. Ooh. Okay, we ain't gonna get into that. Okay, I like that. Okay. No, I need you to dig a little deeper. I'm sorry, you said it, so now I need a little bit more. So, yes.
Okay. So, recently, God has just been, because everybody knows, well, the people that do know me from being a clean comedian. I still do that. But lately, God has just kind of been dealing with me about coming out into deeper waters a little bit and just showing me how I'm kind of a midwife to just kind of help women and people just birth out their purpose and using inspiration as a gift to do that.
Oh, I felt that in my spirit. I'm like, oh my God. Yes, midwife. Yeah, but help you birth that. Woo! I love it. I'm sorry. Like I get excited. I'm sorry. I get really excited, you guys. And I wish I had my bracelet. I had a bracelet and it said relentless. And I had that thing on for over a year. And then all of a sudden one day I went to go talk to a friend and it just broke. And I was like, I didn't touch it. I ain't do nothing. It just came off. And it was one of those rubber. So you have to pull it in order for it to break, right?
Wow.
So I'm going to tell you, when it broke off, that's when I saw you. And I was like, okay. I'm going to have to get with her about that. And then it was like he was telling me, okay, you know what this means now. You don't need that constant reminder. Because I had it on because I would look at it to remind myself to be relentless. So
that's just like my Pray First bracelet. I have it on, and that's just I need to look down every now and then and be like, you know what, you missed it.
Mm-hmm. So if it break, you already know that you don't need that reminder,
right?
Often, because I'm telling you, it just broke. I'm sitting there talking to her, and I was like, "What just happened?" It just broke, like a clean break. It didn't cut the word off or anything. It just clean break. I was like, "All right,
that's so cool."
All right, then, Jesus.
Right.
But so we're gonna get right into the questions. I'm one of those people. I'm like, let's go. But I like what you said when you said that you freedom, like you midwife, you help them push into their purpose, because that's one thing the Lord has been showing me is that I'm here to push you into, like, I'm here to push you. I used to be a people pleaser, but now I'm a people pusher. So I had to push you into what it is that you're supposed to be doing, whether it be your purpose, your gift, whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing. I'm here to push you and be like, look, stop playing. You've been running too long.
Right.
Like, why we still running?
Right. And then a lot of people actually can get offended by that because the birthing process is not easy, nor is it comfortable. And so people that were used to you in one season, man, that's kind of like what I'm dealing with now. People were so used to me being the yes all the time. Anything you need, you know, I'm there. I'm the first line of defense. Whereas now God is like, no, you got to guard your gate. So sometimes you have to say no and cause people to kind of show that they want to make the first step.
Ooh, yes, girl. Oh my goodness. Okay. So we're going to go into the first question, and that is, what makes you relentless?
Nothing of my own strength. I can definitely tell, especially when I'm kind of going through stuff, that there's something, I know it sounds cliche-ish, but it's literally just greater than me. I feel like it's just the call that's on my life, where just the Holy Spirit, they just won't allow me to quit even when, because mentally I quit a long time ago, but spiritually God is like, no, suck it up and let's keep moving, because it's people waiting on you and they can't take off until you get to where you're supposed to be.
I'm trying to keep, cause okay, so now I see why the Moses ties in, because being relentless, that means that you don't quit. You don't, like, no matter, even when, like you said your mind quit a long time ago, but your spirit is like, no, you got to keep going, because you have to. And with Moses, he could have said, no, I don't want to go and try to set these people free. Like, I'm not good enough, of course. And he did say that, but he was equipped for that. So had he not done what he was supposed to do, then there would have Joshua, like that wouldn't have like that. It probably would have happened, but it would have had to go a whole different way, and some unnecessary things would have happened. Like, that's what, even in life, like that's real life too. But sometimes we'll go down this wrong road, and then we'd be like, crap, this wasn't where I was supposed to go. You done bypass all the escape windows, you done bypass all the escape doors, and now you have to wait a whole year because you went this wrong way. And so had Moses said, you know what, I ain't doing this. Like, I got a family, I got things going on. I'm not going to be doing all this, and I don't talk that good. And but the Lord was like, that's okay, go get your brother Aaron, and he'll be your mouthpiece.
That's right.
Yes, he got you. So when you said that, I'm like, yes, because if you don't do it, then there's people who supposed to be doing certain things. They won't get there if you are not in your set place doing what you're supposed to do.
Exactly.
Yes, and you was doing it with your comedy too. And because there was people, like when you came to the event last year, there was people who, things that you said, it laid out some things for them to go and do what they supposed to do.
Praise God.
Yes, and I've seen it, and I'm like, oh, y'all, I see y'all doing what you do. I see it. Yeah, and I think, oh, I just got, okay, so I'm sorry, I got really excited. But I think that there's sometimes the Lord will put us in places where you was, like, you still do your comedy and stuff. He set you up to do that so that you was already comfortable in front of crowds, that you was already okay with being, this is just this is me, you know, happy, silly, a godly woman, like, you know this about me. So then when you go into the rooms now, it's like that presence just automatically walk in with you.
God. And then I'm learning now that the comedy part was to actually make me more comfortable with my testimony, because a lot of stuff that makes people laugh like all the time is stuff that actually happened to me, but I'm able to put like the comical spin on it so that it'll be well received, so that people are still, you know, just getting healing, but it still helps me to be more comfortable, because, you know, the not so fun parts of what we've been through and the stuff that's not so okay. Everybody wants to talk about the ballers. Nobody wants to talk about that sowing season, because that's when we got the bonnet on. That's when, you know, we really have to be vulnerable and transparent, and people don't want to talk about the yucky stuff. So comedy helps me to carry that in a lighter way, if that makes sense, so that I'm comfortable with my testimony. The stuff that the enemy once tried to convince me was shameful is now a tool of liberation. So,
wow, girl, look, I'm just saying, because we've talked before, so I know you, but it's like when I hear it again, it's like, oh Jesus, like, just, oh, because I remember when I met you through someone else, and we were at Stillman College, and and it's like we have been inseparable ever since. We might not talk all the time, but we looking at each other and cheering each other on. Like,
definitely.
I see you out there doing what you do best.
It's all God, friend. I mean, I have no desire to take credit for it. And I think that's what's so super dope. Like, people talk about that all the time, but my desire is really like, keep me low, Jesus. Keep me, you know, I love the place of just being okay with just being Stephanie, you know, just being okay with just being a King's kid. And I'm totally cool with that, because my mission is to make God famous anyway. It's just we get perks in the process of doing that. So
Yes, I love that. Oh my goodness. Because I know this is something that I was talking to my pastor about. I told him, I said, people are telling me that my lives on Facebook are too churchy or I'm doing too much. And I was like, I don't know what I was like, I don't understand. And before I could really ask him the question, I had already answered the question. Because I was like, why am I even worried about them? And then he just looked at me and smiled. And I was like, oh, never mind. Because a lot
Right.
of people want you to dummy down and want you to take your light and dull it some so that, and I get it. There's a lot of people who don't really want to hear God this and God that, or Jesus this, Jesus that. But I can't, I can't like not say it. I mean, I might not say it as much, but I still say it because that's my dad. Like he done saved
Right.
me so many times.
Right.
Like I gotta mention him at least once or twice. I mean,
Right.
come on.
And then you have to think about what light does, especially if it's like shine on, like this morning down here in Birmingham, it was super, super like foggy this morning. Like you literally could not see your hand in front of your face on the drive in. And I had to turn my high beams on. What does that do? That sheds even more light on a foggy situation. So it makes sense why certain people are not comfortable with light, because it exposes the shadows. It exposes all the little dark corners that need that light, because sometimes you need people. And there is a way to do everything. And a lot of times you don't even have to mention his name verbatim. You don't have to say Jesus to show Jesus. And a lot of people don't understand that. But if it's light, and if I'm light, because we are called to be salt and light in the earth, so it's gonna be sometimes where I'm supposed to season it with a little grace, but there's gonna also be times where I just gotta shed light on, because we're in a dark world, so we gotta be light, and it's gonna make people uncomfortable. And that, well, God is like, you gotta be okay with that. And sometimes you have to shake the dust off your feet and keep it moving, and sometimes you have to be like, no, we dealing with this, and I'm not gonna be apologetic about it.
Exactly. Woo. Girl, like already I'm over here like, just calm down. My feet kicking up under the table. Oh man. Okay, so with that being said, now we're gonna jump into question number 2. Have you always been a relentless person? And if so, when did you realize that you were?
So like my story started off a little bit unorthodox. I came up through the foster care system. I was a safe haven baby. So I like I said, I think there was always a call on my life to be relentless even before I understood. And I'm still really learning what that means, to just keep going in spite of everything. But my whole destiny plan has been just created around being relentless. I would say I realized it maybe when I was about 17 or 18. I was staying in a group home, and I would always like advocate for everybody. I'd be like, well, this ain't right. This is not how it's supposed to go. The rules say this. And I remember one of the staff members would always say, well, you're not an attorney yet. And she'd always be like, well, you're not a lawyer yet, Stephanie. And then it was just one day I'm like, I'm just called to just never give up ever, and to not let those around me give up. So I want to say I was about 17 or 18 when I just realized, like, you got to get in and just keep moving. And I'm thankful for that. The drive that's just always been in me, to some days stronger than others. I'm not gonna say like every day I'm waking up like, let's do this, let's dominate, because that's not life. But
Yeah.
most times, yeah, it's just been like, you got to do it. And especially now when you have a family and a ministry and just people depending on you to go, so that they can have that example of what it looks like to actually take the torch and keep it moving.
Woo. Wow. Yes. Because I'm gonna tell you what I call it. Like basically, you have just always been that pusher. Like you've been that. Like even when we don't realize it. Because how I feel about it is that, and it says that we already have a purpose when we are in our mother's womb. Like it's
Right.
already there. We may not know what it is exactly. Our parents might not know what it is, but
Right.
it's like when we finally start like seeing it, it's like, okay, wait a minute. Oh, that's who I am. And then you go back and you look as an adult, you go back and look at like, when did that start? And you be like
Right.
you said, 17. Like you was always that person like, no, this is not how I go.
Right.
Whew. I love that. I love that. I love it. I love it. All right, so we're going to go to our next question. In the business you're in, comically, is there a feeling that you have to be relentless?
Yes. I would say definitely with comedy, because I do clean comedy. All that means is that I don't curse for some reason. Some people try to put that into it. I can only do church events box, but you have to keep going because people would literally try to convince you that you won't make it if you don't curse or don't incorporate certain words or just kind of don't do what everybody else is doing. And you
Mhm.
have to be sure of what you've been called for. And it's like you have to hold fast to what you've been called to do regardless.
Yes. So basically, this is a word that I just got. It's confidence. You have to
Yeah,
be confident in what
yeah,
it is that you're supposed to be doing, regardless of what everybody else say. They're trying to put a label that, oh, she can only do it at church events.
right. But if you're
No,
funny, you're funny. Right,
exactly. You can do it anywhere.
right.
Look, let me tell you, because everybody always go back to, well, there's some people that I know that they've said that they've gone in bars and didn't even. One lady said she was in New Orleans and she just walking down the street and she said she walked in the bar and spoke a word to this dude and then came back out. And her friend was like, that was a bar, right? She was like, all I know is I heard the Lord say, go in there and speak to
Come
this
on.
particular person. She said she did it and she walked out. Wasn't thinking about the fact that it was a bar. She said she didn't even realize it was a bar. She just did what she was supposed to do. Like
And we will
she,
miss the glory cloud if we think that it has to be in traditional settings, because this is not a traditional world and we are not in traditional times. So why would God use traditional methods that are comfortable to get our attention? Like, that's crazy to think that.
even, and that just, whew, you got stuff just popping up all over the place in my head, girl. So take me back to the lady at the well. That wasn't traditional.
Right.
Like that was not traditional to just who do you know? It's not many people that's gonna walk up to somebody who's a streetwalker per se, or somebody who is on drugs that's like cracked out on the sidewalk. It's not gonna be a lot of people that's gonna sit there and talk to them. Like you just got to do it when it's time to do it, and you don't
Right.
have to just do it in the four walls. You
Right.
don't just have to do it there. You have to
Right.
take it out, and wherever the Lord leads you, that's where you go.
Exactly.
And you can't be afraid. You got to be confident and walk boldly in that thing.
Yeah.
Woo.
Because you will face opposition for sure, especially when you try to do the right thing. That's when the opposition comes for real. So you
So
got to
now,
be.
yeah. So I was getting ready to ask you. So opposition. Have you had a lot? Like I know, as far as like when people say, "Well, she can only do it because she's clean," so that means she can only do it at church. What other oppositions have you faced with your basically your ministry? Like what other oppositions?
So, definitely family for sure. People have a tendency to criticize things that they don't understand, and especially with families that kind of pride themselves on having this image. Once I start, writing a book, once I started doing, like engagements and stuff that caused me to have to speak on those things, that's where like a lot of my opposition came from, because I was unsealing those unhealthy cubicles. I was ripping the seal off, because I had to heal, and I wanted, my children to not have to deal with those things. And I don't want their children to have to deal with those things. So we cutting it off at the root, and that definitely brings opposition, because the enemy doesn't want that. He doesn't want generations of free people. He doesn't want me to deal with rejection issues, and so I could cut it off at the root so my children won't have to deal with that, so their children won't. And it's family. I have to take breaks from social media a lot. The Bible tells us to guard our gates, and you definitely have to be. You can't listen to every conversation. You can't be a part of every conversation. You can't go to every page. I have to remove there's going to come a point where God will be like, you have to have the strength to know that this is not good for you and remove yourself from it. Now, in the beginning, God was chopping all the trees down for me because I was a baby and I didn't understand how things work. But as you learn and you grow and you evolve into the mature things of Christ, well, then you have to make the conscious decision to be like, this ain't good for my spirit. Certain TV shows can be opposition because you can feel that they're not downloading what you need to just flourish. And it's just, you just got to be consistently looking for the ops, if that makes sense.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Because I've had to cut out a couple of shows that I had fell in love with.
I know.
And I was
I
like,
know.
and I was relentless on watching them and recording them.
And catching back up with them. Like, look, I got something to do today for the next 4 hours. I need you.
Yes. Like literally would have to watch every episode because I done missed the whole season. So now I got to catch up. But now I'm like, I actually, and people may think this is crazy, but I feel so much better. Like some of the stuff that they was, like people don't understand that stuff can jump on you, and you'll be sitting
and
there
then
like,
you'll find yourself talking about these people's situations like it's not a fictional. Like this is not real life. I had to do that. There's certain shows that have me like really mad with these people. Like they're not actors getting paid to do a job, and it's like, hold up, that's too much. Because when the enemy only needs a foothold, like literally, and we don't know what size shoe he wears, we don't know how many feet he has. So you consistently have to be like, this not good, crop failure, and shut that door to that stuff, especially when God calls you to deeper waters.
yes, girl, because I was like, and one of my favorite ones was Black Ink Crew.
Yes, yes.
And I had to let Caesar them go. I had to let them go. I was like, but I love Young Bay. Like,
right.
But he was in the love was like,
had me like that. Like literally had me like that until I felt like I had to take on the persona of those girls to be successful. And I'm like, the devil is a lie. This is foolery. So I had to let it go.
Yes, because I was like, man, I'm up here getting upset and all kind of stuff. And I'm like, y'all don't say that about her. And I'm like, that is not my friend.
Right.
Why am I so upset? Why am I over here? And my husband was really getting frustrated. He was like, you act like these people live next door to you and you go to their house and say, what's up? He was like, you getting on my nerves. But like I had stopped, like I haven't even, I'm gonna tell you one show that I started watching, and then I think season 2 or 3, I was like, I'm done. Scandal. I was like, I watched the first season, I watched the second season, but then I've started feeling some type of way about certain scenes. And I was like, yeah, that's not good for you. And then How to Get Away with Murder, I was like, I watched the first 2-3 seasons, and then I was like, I'm starting to have thoughts about going and just cutting somebody up. Like, that's not good.
Right, that's definitely not good.
They done made me mad, and now I want to go over there and be like, and I know how to get away with it because I saw it on How to Get Away with It. So, like you said, you have to cut some things off because you start having those thoughts. You start dreaming about that stuff. You start having stuff coming around that ain't never was supposed to come around.
Exactly.
So I had to cut all that off. And I'm just so happy that you got on here today because
thank you, sugar. I'm happy you had me.
It's not often that like I've had a couple other people, and I'm gonna just tell you, all of y'all have a spirit that is just so like it just that's what y'all get. I don't know what kind of spirit that is. I don't know what it's called, but it's just a calming. Look, I'm gonna say a calming spirit because I've had conversation with other people, and I just be like, never mind. Like, that's okay. It's okay. No, that's not it. But I like how with each person, when I don't choose the topics, I do not choose them. They just come to me, and then of course, we know where they come from.
Right.
I don't choose them, and then I get the topic, and then not like probably 10 minutes later, I get the person.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay. I might not act on it right then because I might have some other stuff going on, but I'll remember like, okay, this particular topic belongs to this person. Now, whether or not they decide to do it is up to them, but I'm at least gonna ask.
Right. You got to keep God as your executive producer. You're gonna be good.
Yes, and that's what I'm working on doing, because I've done some things in the past where, and I was very relentless about doing these things. That's why I'm like like this word, like I was like, this is how it's gonna be, and then I'll do it, and then the Lord be like, so you just decided to do that, and that's why it went that way.
Right.
My bad. Like I thought it was you because you told me to do this, and he was like, but I didn't tell you to do that.
Right.
And then that's where all the other stuff started coming in. Then it takes me back 2-3 months, and I'd be like, crap, now I got to start all the way over. May not be able to actually do this year because of that one thing. So I'm just happy that you got on here, and I'm just happy that ReLentLess even resonated with you for you to actually come on here and do this with me.
Well, I had so much fun.
Yes. And look, I didn't realize how goofy I was until we got on here.
You know you crazy.
Look, I know I'm a little goofy. I be having my moments. But I'm so glad that we were able to do this particular topic, ReLentLess. And I wanted to give you guys, let me see if I can look it up really quick. I wanted to do this in the beginning and I forgot all about it, but I'm going to do it real quick. ReLentLess. We're going to look that word up so we can give the people. Okay, it said oppressively constant, incessant. I don't know what that other word is. I might have to look that up. But basically, you don't give up. You keep going. Right. You keep moving. You don't allow anything to stop you, no matter how many distractions, no matter how many times people come in and be like, you can't do this and you're not going to be successful in that. You keep going regardless. You don't stop. You don't quit. So I just pray that this podcast has helped you guys today, that it will continue, that you will continue to just push and keep doing what you're supposed to do and not let anybody stop you.
Ever.
Yes, that you become relentless, that you remind yourself every day, that you look at it, and then when it's time for you to just know that that is who you are, that it just break away and you just remember that that's just who you are.
Exactly.
Yes. So you guys have a good one, and I will see you again on next Tuesday. Bye.
All right, thanks, Sophia.
Thank you for joining The Core, where we're pushing you daily, mind, body, and soul. We'll see you again next Tuesday.